Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of August 20th, 2015, and one ebb or road in the Mayan Zolkin calendar, with the Sun entering Virgo, Mercury entering Libra, and the Pisces full moon. And August 20th is one ebb or road. It carries the themes of destiny, guidance, travel, vessel of time, dew from heaven, abundance, organization, caretaking, empathy, growth, service to others, the ladder that connects heaven and earth, the life force also known as prana in the Vedic tradition, and chi in the Chinese culture. Harvest, and humility. Ian Lungold described a road as sometimes referred to as the sign of grass, which is the most bountiful of all life forms, but also the most humble. The road of life leads us to our true destiny on the spiritual path we all must travel. This 13-day period would be a good time to humbly offer to serve others. Since we're beginning a new Gregorian month during this Trecena, I thought I'd discuss the metaphysics of the upcoming month. September is the 9th month, and with the digits for 2015, when we add it together, we get 17, and then we add the 1 and 7, and that gives us a 17-8 month in numerology. Basic numerology reduces numbers to 1 through 9. So when we think about that arc, the 8 represents a time of picking up the pace as we prepare to complete the cycle next month. This can also bring revisions to financial situations, businesses, investments, and industry. The 17-8 combination is represented by the star and justice adjustment archetypes in the tarot cards, which is about having our self-sufficiency and talents recognized by others while finding balance in our path to know ourselves. This also brings the energy that what is begun must be completed. This quote from Walt Whitman represents the star archetype. We convince by our presence. And this offering from Ralph Bloom from the Book of Ruins represents the adjustment justice archetype. Know thyself, nothing in excess. The self is required to balance the self. So in September represents moving towards towards completion in October, as June brought us new options. July brought us further down the path regarding the situations that lead to a new life. We began a time of evolution in August, which was mostly hidden. And then in September, the pace increases with the solar and lunar eclipses and Mercury retrograde in Libra to review information and actions that occurred during the past 7 months. In October, we complete the numerological cycle and begin a new cycle in November. Before I get into the daily energy for August 20th in one ebb or road, all the planets appear to be moving forward or direct from our vantage point here on the Earth, with the exception of Venus and Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which appear to be moving retrograde or in reverse motion. And remember, the themes of a retrograde planet are a review of the past, reevaluate, reminisce, as we can see these themes being played out. With Venus retrograde, not only it's reviewing not only our social and romantic relationships, but also what we value. So this is a period where people will assess what they're attracted to, including possessions and wealth. Venus began its retrograde in Virgo, which brought the planet of aesthetics, romance, and money to remain in the sign of the Virgin for 2 weeks, and then it backed into Leo on July 31st, and Venus is retrograde. This is a time when we notice events related to our relationships and or money that shifts our thinking to prepare us for a change that we will implement after Venus turns direct. Often we reconnect with old friends and lovers and repair ailing relationships during Venus retrograde. Chiron's retrograde in Pisces. This is about releasing stuck emotional energy so that we can return to the natural flow of life. Retrograde Chiron has us reviewing our wounds so that they can be released by having the courage to open our hearts to any fear or pain associated with our past. When Chiron is in Pisces, people are willing to sacrifice their individual pain in hopes of finding bliss in universal consciousness. At worst, this can be manifest as folks justifying their victimhood as some form of martyrdom. This should be transcendence and surrender without losing ourselves in the experience. And then we've got Uranus retrograde in Aries until December 26. Uranus is seeking to shake our very foundation through the unexpected rebellion of the individual. Retrograde in Aries will have us people wanting to hurry the process of getting free, to push the river of revolution, whether it be personal or political. Neptune retrograde in Pisces is seeking transcendence through spiritual experiences. This is a time to use spiritual practices to keep us grounded as we expand our intuition and consciousnesses. Both Neptune and Pisces, the sign that it rules, tend to be dreamy, imaginative, difficult to nail down due to their qualities of illusion and illumination, often without any way to know which is which. They represent compassion and codependence, selflessness and loss of self, higher purpose and substance abuse in their inspiration to transcend the material plane and experience something beyond words and thoughts. And then we've got Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. This is the planet of transformation through death and rebirth cycle. And when it's retrograde, it's about review of the past and releasing anything from the past that's a burden to our new path. Pluto in Capricorn is determined in exposing the darkness and destroying the old order so that we can rise up like the phoenix from the ashes and soar again. Capricorn is about large structures, including banks, governments, corporations, and religions. Pluto will be in Capricorn until 2023, where it's destroying and regenerating the structures that are the foundation of our societies, represented by Capricorn. This is a time of a cosmic course correction for the entire planet. We cannot continue to harm Mother Earth for the economic gain of a few. And it's the resistance to Pluto's lessons of letting go of the past that bring tragedy and pain. So let's look at the daily vibrational energy for this Trecena. August 20th is one ebb or road, which is about unity being experienced through serving your community in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. And we've got Mercury opposed by Chiron, which can bring a greater focus on our thinking regarding issues that require release to promote healing and can take us more deeply into our past wounds to allow more organized insights that seek resolution. We may feel uncomfortable and unsettled as old emotions come to the surface in our consciousnesses, in our conscious minds, so that they can be healed. I'm not going to be covering the daily lunar activity during these reports other than the new and full moons, but that information is available on the New World Birth daily Facebook post and also on the blogger New World Birth blog. The 21st is to bend or read or corn, duality experienced through maintaining the home. And at this point, we've got the sun in a square to Saturn. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is forming a 90-degree angle. And just so you know, I've advanced the chart a little bit So actually, we would be looking more at the Earth being positioned about here with the Sun still in Leo. But for this transit, so Sun in a 90-degree angle to Saturn, which has people feeling unlucky. It brings up issues that are difficult to handle, but the effect doesn't last more than a few days. It really brings up two questions. What do you owe others and what do you owe yourself? This is a conflict between self-gratification and duty to others. This is a tension between two poles that may be limiting and depressing as we want to break out of this rut. But find that the restrictions are holding us back from being ourselves. Folks will not want to go to work or to school or interact with people they prefer not to associate with. This energy is good for introspection and finding solitude. It can also bring resentments as obstacles interfere with our wishes to do what we want. Under this influence, people may make assumptions without checking the facts, which is not favorable for relationships with authority figures. The best use of this transit is to channel this energy into discipline. Often others are not holding us back, but we are projecting our internal restraint outwards onto people in our immediate environment. This is a low physical and psychological energy transit, so you may feel like you have the weight of the world and on your shoulders, and it feels very heavy. This can also bring up questions that we've been avoiding answering and negative thoughts. This transit shows our vulnerabilities and weaknesses and gives us an idea of what we can work on to gain greater confidence. August 22nd is 3 Ish or Jaguar, which is about taking action through enjoying nature in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. The 23rd is 4 Men or Eagle, stability through seeing from a higher perspective. And at this point, we have the Sun entering into Virgo, which brings our attention. Brings our transition to the next season, finishing up summer in the north and winter in the south. This is a much more modest, practical, reserved energy than the Leo energy of the past month. We are more interested in the mundane details and getting organized. Traditionally, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but I agree with Barbara Hand Clow that Chiron, the wounded healer, is the modern ruler of the sign associated with health. This should bring a shift to be more focused on organization, self-improvement, criticism, and service. And then, speaking of the wounded healer, Mars trines Chiron on the 23rd, which brings a courage and action to release the past and allow healing. On the 24th, we've got 5 Akib or wisdom, empowerment through introspection, meditation, and forgiveness in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. The 25th is 6 Kaban or earth, being in the flow through gratitude for Mother Earth. The 26th is 7 Etsnob or flint, which is about reflection through being introspective, with Mercury in a sextile to Saturn. So from our perspective here on Earth, Mercury would have moved on to here. Basically, this is a 60-degree angle between Mercury in Virgo and Saturn in Scorpio, which is great for constructive criticism that comes from being able to see what can be improved in our surrounding environment. We're very conscious of our flaws, including our own, which we can use our critical eye to what should be changed to bring improvement. This can be very serious in its pursuit of betterment. Just make sure that you're honoring what's positive and not getting overwhelmed by the many imperfections that are in view with this transit. Older people may serve as teachers or mentors at this time. It's a nice energy for working carefully on a mental task from a place of concentration and precision, whereas activities that require a greater scope of vision may be more difficult. This is about the details rather than the overall pattern. Difficulty seeing the forest for the trees, but this does actually get balanced out because we also have the sun conjunct Jupiter. So from our perspective here on Earth, both the sun and Jupiter are at the very beginning degrees of Virgo, which is this is very good energy, both physically and psychologically. It's very optimistic and expansive. People will be more open-minded, so it might be a good day to study and understand subjects that normally are beyond our understanding. The only caution I see with this transit is to avoid being arrogant, domineering, or excessive, as those are the negative aspects of the day. Mostly this is very positive and promotes future growth. And then the 27th is 8 Kawak or storm balance through recognizing the gifts in adversity. And at this point, we have Mercury moving into Libra, and which is going to be there for a very long stay due to turning retrograde in the sign of the scales, because it doesn't actually move into Scorpio until November 2nd. In Libra, Mercury is about rational, balanced thinking and communication. People are more inclined to make decisions by listening to the pros and cons. Fairness is important while Mercury's in Libra. Sometimes the weighing of options turns into indecision. Mercury is social in Libra and does not wish to stir up controversy. So I'd expect this to be more friendly and possibly sympathetic in conversations with others over the next 66 days. Folks are going to be more likely to speak tactfully and seek peaceful solutions and diplomacy regarding relationships. I think Mercury, particularly when it retrogrades, could bring revision to agreements and treaties and contracts. And then also on the 27th, Mercury crosses the threshold of 1 degree Libra, where it will eventually turn direct after its retrograde cycle, representing the beginning of the shadow time, where we receive information about needing to adjust our direction that will be implemented after Mercury turns direct. August 28th is 9 Ahau, or Sun, patience experienced through honoring the wisdom and memory of our ancestors in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. The 29th is 10 Imish, or Crocodile, manifestation through nurturing new beginnings. And we have the Pisces Full Moon, which is a more gentle full moon, although there are some very powerful alignments in the days following this lunation. Pisces represents the surrender to the spirit and emotional realm to be balanced with the practical aspects of living in the physical world, represented by Virgo. This moon leads to simplicity and attunement to what really matters. Are you happy with the results of what you've sown over the past 6 months? This lunation is challenged by Saturn out of sign, but it's also opposed by Jupiter along with the Sun. It merges with Neptune. Square to Saturn, which can have people feeling lonely and isolated. Opposed by Jupiter brings feelings of generosity. Merge with Neptune, the ruling planet of Pisces. also brings feelings of empathy for those around us, including the possibility of clairvoyance and telepathic experiences for those of us who are sensitive by nature. The full moons bring tension between, in this case, the moon in Pisces pulling us to explore otherworldly realms, with the sun in Virgo, which wants a grounded and organized way of being in the world. And with the sun conjunct Jupiter, which is the traditional ruler of Pisces, still an orb, and the moon conjunct Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, is a very interesting full moon, with the ruling planets being active in the chart of the lunation. August 30th is 11 Eek, or win, resolution through communication in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. The 31st is 12 Akbal, or night, understanding through contemplating the stars. And at this point, we've got the sun opposing Neptune. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 180-degree angle between the sun in Virgo and Neptune in Pisces, which brings considerable confusion and uncertainty. It also confers a sensitivity to others and their needs, which can lead to new awareness. This is likely to be a day when people may just agree with others to avoid any type of confrontation. It's best to avoid playing the victim or martyr role. If you feel you can't assert yourself under this influence, then try to delay any disagreements until you've given yourself time to reflect on the issue. This is also a time to be aware that people may be outright deceptive, making it a poor time to negotiate any contractual agreements. This transit is positive for experiencing more depth in spiritual connections with a partner, with the potential for a union of souls. And then September 1st, we've got 13 Con, or seed, or lizard, movement to the next stage through planting seeds and making new connections. And at this point, from our perspective here on Earth, we've got Venus conjunct Mars in Leo, which brings a strong desire for physical passion and sexual experiences. People may be more aggressive in finding partnership. It can also cause arguments with people of the opposite sex. It certainly arouses our creative energy, particularly if it has any kind of physical component to the activity, favoring things like sculpture over maybe watercolor painting, or performing music or theater over, maybe writing poetry or songs. So no matter what the energies that are affecting you during the one road Trecena, take some time to be in the flow of the planet, through being in nature, or watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just really being conscious of being with somebody you love. Every day we have is a blessing, and no matter what the dramas are that beckon to distract us, we're all here giving the performance of a lifetime on the world stage. Just take some time to observe the play as well as act your part. Remember, you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on September 2nd for one Chan, or serpent, with Venus turning direct, the Virgo new moon and solar eclipse. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or the Mayan Magics website. I also encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose. And as always, I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you've got any questions, or you wish to schedule a reading. I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine, in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. And again, Again, email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you'd like instructions on how to make a donation. Or, as I've said before, get a reading. These things are epic. They go on for at least 2 hours, often 3, sometimes 4. Lots of details, just like in these reports, but they're all about you and about what's going on in your life and about how you're designed to make decisions. So, as always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and look forward to connecting with you in the future, whether it's in a reading or a future report, or email me if you got a question. All my best to everybody. Peace.